I went over to Wilder and Ortiz the second fight, and he was in a bit of a negative mood at this point. Tyson, I shouldn't bother going over there, waste of time, this, that and the other. But I got along well with Wilder's coach, and after the fight I got the vibe from the way Wilder took that fight. I thought, I know what they're going to do. They're going to try to start slow, create a comfortable environment for Tyson to then boom, basically, I'm going to keep my right hand in my pocket, let you get comfortable, brought you in, boom. And for being in that fight week, that's what I learned. Just by me being there and a few different conversations, I thought, I know what they're going to try and do here. So I went back and said to Tyson, he messaged me back saying, I'm going to start fast then. And I thought, they could catch him off guard because he's going to expect you to get on your toes, go on the back foot. Mike was thinking, I'm not going to throw much, let you get a little bit confident, then boom, out of nowhere. And so I was like, look, I actually agree, I think that could be quite effective, but I think if he starts going through the rounds, you know, you need to do a bit of this and a bit of that and blah blah blah. So that's where the whole starting fasting come from. And then I went up, I was like, look, I think I can see, you know, you're probably not in a great place right now. I think we should, you know, start doing a bit of training, even if it's every other day or whatever. And like, nah, I'm sweet, I'm brand new, this, that and the other. But I knew he won. And a couple of weeks later, or a week later, or 10 days later, he was like, oh, do you want to come up and do a session? Went up and done a session. And after the session, we had a bit of a chat. He had to make a couple of decisions, business-wise. I had to make a couple of decisions, business-wise. And at this point, I already knew that Josh was coming over to do some training. Billy Joe was there at the time. And the plan was to always bring someone else in. Not that their job is to take over, but to bring someone else in. So it's a big job and a hard job training someone like Tyson.
Those are the words of Ben Davison, in his own way explain why finally that they decided to split. Now, I'm glad that Ben actually came forth with this particular interview, because for a while it was a big question mark on why he actually left. Okay, we heard this, we heard that, and it was basically a dispute between Tyson and Ben Davison. And my counterpunch was right on the money then. I remember when Ben and Tyson just mysteriously vanished apart, you know, and that news broke. And then all of a sudden it was Javon Sugar Hill that was just taking over, you know, and we heard about the story with John. I will leave the link in the description and let you guys know and see that in its entirety. Ben Davison, I think, wanted Tyson to be in better shape, which he didn't feel he was. Now, there's still a lot of things that he won't say, you know, like he said, a bit of a chat, you know, and then we had a bit of a chat. Then he went to see the Ortiz fight, and I think that is when Ben Davison figured out what Wilder's camp was planning to do in the second fight, which to counterpunch that, I think that was right. I think that was dead on. I think what they were doing with Wilder versus the Ortiz fight, Ortiz was the experimental game plan for Tyson Fury, because they expected Tyson to fight like Tyson fought the first fight. On the back foot, jab, 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 keep him back, stay away from the right hand, right? And Ben Davison was the one that came to him and told him, hey, I think they're trying to wait to bait you in and take you out with a slippery right hand, just like he hit Ortiz with. If you guys can remember, that right hand came out of nowhere, okay? And Wilder was losing every round. That was no doubt about it. He wasn't, none of those rounds he won. And Ben Davison came to him, like he explained in this interview, like, hey, this is what they're trying to do. So I don't think you're ready for that. And I think the power in the way Wilder delivered that right hand, I think that worried Ben Davison. In fact, I think that scared Ben Davison. And then Ben Davison was like, wow, if he can catch Ortiz with that, with Ortiz's experience, he can catch Tyson. But why? Why did he think that? Because he already caught Tyson. And he caught Tyson when he was the most reckless, when he was the most emotional, okay? Wilder was throwing these looping, wide right hands. They had punch, they had knockout written all over him, but he was missing them. But the ones he caught Tyson with, Tyson went down. 9th, 12th. Down, down. Right? So, Ben knew, like, let me do this. And the game plan that the little chat, so to speak, came with what he felt Tyson Fury should do, and Tyson Fury thought that he was in better shape. And Ben Davison didn't like that. Ben Davison thought he could get better, he could be better, and he thought he should start training way before that fight. Okay, so I think after the Vailline fight, after he got cut like that, he was like, you know what? You've been cut. Those cuts might open again. You're fighting someone like Wilder. Wilder's performance was a lot better than yours. It was more dominant. He was coming off the momentum, not Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury was, in fact, in a situation where he had a tough, hard, murky fight with Otto Vailline. And Otto Vailline, the guy to that caliber, he didn't supposed to have that type of fight with him. And I think all that worried Ben Davison. Okay, so his physical condition for one, the game plan for two, the cut, having the hard fight with Otto Vailline for three. So I think all those things were making Ben Davison crawfish back. And when I mean crawfish back, I mean back up, people. Okay, that's a Louisiana expression. And so I think he already had Josh Taylor coming in. Tyson Fury had this new guy coming in. And I think after that second chat, I think they decided to part ways because of that. Now, he's still friends with Tyson, and he didn't really go into depth, but at least he explained something for the masses, like, hey, this is what happened. So it started with John Fury, with the influence of the father, right? And John Fury and Ben Davison, they got along, but they didn't get along as far as John respecting him as a head coach. And I think John had a bigger influence on it than people realize too, because when Javon Sugar Hill came in, John Fury respected him. Have you ever heard John Fury say anything bad about Javon Sugar Hill? Think about what I'm saying. So I think when Javon Sugar Hill was introduced, after all the disagreements that these guys had, I think John Fury was the one that was like, hey, Tyson, let me tell you something. You need to just bring Javon in and let Ben Davison train Josh or whatever and let him go on, so we can get someone that I know that can do the job for you. But guess what? The job that Javon Sugar Hill did worked. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about this interview with Ben Davison. Again, I will leave the link below in the description. Let you guys check it out in its entirety. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.